Hello and welcome, disc golfers, to the Hitting the Line podcast. This is season 2, episode 2. I'm your host, Jad, and as per usual, I am joined by my brother, Nasdog. Nas, how you doing, bruv?
What's up, Jad? It's the week we've been waiting for since the end of last season. LVC is getting ready to kick off the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and we are going to be live in Las Vegas starting on Thursday. And what a proper city for us to start the season off in, considering what we're doing here today. I want to thank some of our sponsors before we get started. Of course, our main sponsor is prizepicks.com. Prizepicks.com is the only website currently giving disc golf lines and bets, and they have been a sponsor of our show since we first started. If you actually, I got a message today on Twitter from someone. They want to know where they could go and if we had a promo code to use. If you go to prizepicks.com and make a first deposit, they will match your deposit 100% up to $100. So if you deposit $100, they'll match you another $100. You're playing with $200 this week. So shout out to Prize Picks for being our very first sponsor. We also want to shout out a couple other sponsors new this season. First one being Dark Ace Apparel. Dark Ace Apparel was established in 2020. They are from St. Louis, Missouri, same place as our boy Nico LaCastro there. And their motto is play disc golf, listen to metal. And they like to merge these two worlds together with super dope clothing like this tank you see right here, the Skull Boy tank. Play disc golf, listen to metal. And so we want to shout out George at Dark Ace for believing in us and being our first apparel sponsor. And new this week on our sponsor list is Till Death Disc Club. And you can see this nice hat that I'm wearing here is from Till Death Disc Golf Club. And they are a disc golf brand focused on providing stylish apparel for on and off the course. Till Death represents the appreciation and love that disc golfers have for our sport. And their motto says it all: disc golf for life, till death. So you can check them out at tilldeathdisclub.com and on their Insta and Twitter at tilldeathdc. Thank you very much to Till Death Disc Golf.
Yes, sir. Shout out to those companies that give us the opportunity to keep doing this, giving us the opportunity to talk about disc golf, doing what we love.
I mean, look how fly this hat is, man. I mean, the guy's in the
It is a nice hat. It is a nice
hat. It says glide or die on the side. And then, my Dark Ace tank is sick. Look at the Skull Boy with the disc in his mouth. It's so sick. So go out and get you some of that apparel. If you go to Till Death Disc Golf Club site, you can use the promo code HTL Pod to get yourself, I believe, 15% off your first order. And if you use the promo code HTL on Dark Ace's site, you can also get yourself a little discount there as well. So make sure to check them out. Support our sponsors for, believing in us. So thank you.
All righty, let's get into the thick of it. Las Vegas Challenge. It's been around for a long time, formerly known as, I believe, the Gentlemen's Club Challenge.
That's right.
Something like that. Last year, our winner was Eagle by a landslide, right?
Yeah, last year, he won by 8 strokes. He had that huge lead, or he had I think a pretty small lead going into the final round, and then he shot a 1090 rated 49 the final day. So that was pretty incredible on Eagle's part to win by a comfortable 8 strokes at 48 under through 4 rounds. And then we had Calvin in second, Ezra in third, Garrett Gerthy in fourth, and Ricky Wysocki in fifth. And then to round out, oh, sorry, no, that is not correct. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. I thought that
Slide
was
us into FPO.
Yeah, looking at our FPO ladies from last year. Let me scroll on down here. Paige Pierce won narrowly at minus 25, Katrina Allen at minus 24, and this was a Katrina Page race with the next closest competitor, Jessica Weiss, shooting an 8 down, Owen Scoggins 6 down, Haley King 5 down. So it was a Paige Pierce, Katrina Allen show. Paige Pierce came out hot the first round of the Infinite course, shot a 1031 rated first round, and never really took her foot off the gas there. So Katrina Allen.
While last year was a 2-horse race, did you see what was posted on Twitter this morning by our good friend Statman Doe? It will be the most competitive women's division in the history of disc golf this week at LVC.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yep.
Was it Katrina Allen was the 6th or 7th highest rated FPO player?
There's records for most 970 plus rated FPO women. highest average for ratings for women in a field. So if you like FPO, this is the week, and who doesn't? This is the week you really want to pay attention because we're going to get a lot of information. We got a handful of the European women over. We got Paige, we got Kat, we got Kona coming in fresh. Haley King last year did not perform well, but we know what she's capable of. So this is going to be, I'm really looking forward to the FPO this week and seeing what shakes of it.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited to see Kat chucking around her new plastic and Paige to go out there and kind of redeem herself after last season. So it's going to be exciting stuff. I know, Jed, there was a lot of drama. We were expecting the lines to come out yesterday, and through much waiting, they finally came out, I think about 9:45 Pacific time ish, maybe 9:30, and we do have those available to us now. Do we want
We
to continue to
do,
talk about the
and
course or want to move to the board?
yeah. Well, some of these lines have already moved, and I just want to emphasize again how important it is to get to the lines as early as possible and be prepared for when they come out. Because me and you were talking about, so I've got, some locks that I like this week on the lines. I have some maybes. I have some people to avoid. I had a maybe on Calvin Heimberg, and I told you if this moves half a stroke, I don't know if I'm on it. And as me and you were placing our bets, it
Yep.
did move that half a stroke.
It's like they're
So
listening.
yeah. So funny enough, you do want to be there early, but nevertheless, we do have some people we like this week. So again, this is on Prize Picks, either the website or the app. Shout out to Prize Picks for having these available to us and giving us a chance as our sponsor. Use referral code HTL when you make your first deposit, and you get that deposit matched instantly.
That's right.
So right before we go to the board, do you have any predictions, anything of note that you care to talk about as far as what you might think happens this week?
Oh, well, I think this is going to be a course where we see, the best shine. I think we're going to see Calvin do really well. Eagle we know has a forehand issue right now. He's not throwing a ton of forehands, but he did show us last week at All Stars that he could still do a lot with just a backhand. But I think it's going to be a Ricky Calvin Eagle kind of show at the end of it. But we're here to kind of look at where the weak spots are in these lines. So those are the three guys I expect to play really, really well. We know Paul Macbeth is not here this week, and I think we can probably expect to see Ezra and Kyle Klein play really well too. No one would be surprised, though, of course, if Nate Sexton took a top 10 or a top 5 or even better finish. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Cool. So I'm going to get into it. First off, I want to preface any advice we give that, this is not financial advice. We're doing a little bit of gambling and placing entries for fun, and we're just doing our best with the data presented to us to make some predictions. This data was presented to us by our good friends on Twitter, Statmando. Give them a follow. Really what their goal is to be the central spot where everybody comes together and gives any stats that they have, so we can all work towards a better disc golf future.
Just to kind of have a history, like other sports have years and years and decades of stats to look back on. And so I think it's really important the work that they're doing of compiling these stats so we can go back and look and say, oh, who are the players that have shot really well historically at this course, or which courses play the toughest based on a statistical analysis. And I think that's really important. So shout out to Statmando. All of the data that they give us is not advice, as Jad mentioned. They're just putting it out there for us to interpret. And then we are trying to interpret what we see to you all.
Sure. So I'm going to start off with just some points of note as far as some data goes that we have here. As good as Eagle is, Eagle still typically shoots over his rating at Las Vegas Challenge. His best rating entering the event ever was 1050, and he's averaging 1060 plus golf.
Yeah.
Kevin Jones averages over 1045 golf at LVC. Ezra averages, where are we at? I lost him. Let's see.
Spreadsheets.
Right. Anyways, Ezra typically shoots well. We've seen him shoot a 1090 last year. Sexton typically shoots about his rating. James Conrad typically shoots below his rating at Las Vegas Challenge. And Brody Smith typically shoots very well against his rating. We
Yeah.
are expecting the course to play. So it's a difference by 2 in par this year. Last
Yeah, it was
year,
par 59 and it's par 57 this year with a couple par fours being reduced down to par threes and made a little bit shorter, I believe. I think it's hole 9 and 16 are the two major changes. And there are a couple other changes on the course if you look at the caddy book on the LVC site. But the big thing of note is that it is playing two strokes, par is 2 strokes lower. So
and we are expecting the course to play about 1 stroke easier because of that. We're not buying that it's going to be 2 strokes easier. We're expecting maybe 1 stroke easier. So when last year maybe a 51 was a 1040, we're expecting this year a 10 or while a
50.
51 might have been a 1030 last year, we're expecting a 50 to be about a 1030 this year.
Yeah.
And vice
And that's kind
versa.
of one of
So
our strategies that we do when we look at these lines and we look at the old ratings is we try to get those kind of baseline numbers. What's 1,000 rated round? What's a 1030? What's a 1050? Kind of leveling out where those like upper echelons of scores are going to be. Do you have those for us today, Jed?
yeah, so we're projecting a 55 to be about 1,000 rated, jumping up a little bit to a 1020, probably like a 53, a 1030,
Yeah.
maybe a 51, a 1040, maybe a 50, a 1060, maybe about a 48. So here's what
Yeah.
we've got. So we that's how we narrowed it down, and I've culminated about 3 locks that I really like this week. Kevin Jones and Ezra under 50 and a half. So that means that they would have to shoot a
7
50.
down. Yeah,
They
7
would,
down.
they would have to shoot 50, which we're projecting to be about a 1040. Kevin Jones averages 1047 in Las Vegas. So that's about a stroke. He averages about a stroke better than what they're projecting him. And not to mention, this is generally the easiest course in Vegas.
Yeah, it's going to be the easiest. And it's, this is the easiest course.
And then also, same goes for Ezra. They're projecting him at 50 and a half. So we're taking Ezra and Kevin Jones on the under. And then my lock for the over is going to be James Conrad 50. They're projecting James Conrad to shoot better than Kevin Jones and Ezra, and I'm not buying it. So if we take James Conrad over 50, that's a 51. That's about a 1030. James averages 1027 in Vegas. So we're putting him right at that spot. So because again, when you are making these selections, Prize Picks does require you to choose at least one over or at least one under. You can't have all overs, you can't have all unders. So we do
Yeah.
try to find somebody that we like on either side. So those are our
Yeah.
locks.
Yep.
I'm not guaranteeing that those are going to hit, but that's what I like right away.
I like Conrad there too. You kind of got to think that maybe if the wind is blowing a little bit, and with his history at the course, he's definitely, I think, a weak spot in the lineups. It's also, it comes down to if you think you are a James Conrad true believer, if you think that he's world champ material and can win at any time, then maybe that's something that you avoid. If you're more like us and you think that maybe that's not really where he's normally at, is a top 5 player in the world, then I think maybe taking the over is smart there.
Yeah, and if you don't like Conrad, I have culminated some maybes as well. Not my locks, but my maybes. My one maybe over is actually Chris Dickerson. I got nothing against Chris Dickerson. He's an amazing golfer. He's easily a top 10 golfer in the world. However, they have him at a 49 and a half. An over would put him at a 50, which is still 1040 golf. He doesn't have history in Las Vegas. He doesn't normally travel to the West Coast. Probably hasn't played in this kind. I'm sure he's played in this kind of wind condition, but again, he just hasn't played here much. An over still puts him at 1040, which is great golf.
Yeah, he's not going to be out of it at that.
And I got to choose an over. So Chris Dickerson over 49 and a half, I still like. And then my other two maybes are Drew Gibson under 51. So 50 puts him at about a 1040. Gibson's coming off a hot streak where he finished really strong last year. He's off to a decent start this year, and he plays typically about 1040 golf in Las Vegas. So I do like Drew Gibson under as a maybe. And we had Calvin Heimberg as our maybe
We
under.
had him. We had him at the
48 and a half.
48 and a half.
I have proof. I'll even send screenshots. We had him at 48 and a half on the under. He has since the line's moved. The line's moved in less than an hour, folks. So he is at a 48 now. I had originally said I don't like him at the 48. So Calvin Heimberg under is a 48, which is 1060. The reason I like it is because they were projecting him worse than Ricky, worse than Eagle. And we know very well he's capable of shooting the hot round. So he was my maybe under at 1060. Calvin can easily shoot 1060 in Las
And
Vegas.
now he is the same as Ricky and a half stroke higher than Eagle. So if you think Calvin's going to go out here and dominate this course the first day, by all means,
Then he's
choose
still
that
an under
under.
for you if you want.
Yeah, he could still be an under for
But
sure.
that half stroke can make all the worlds in your picks. So
yeah. Who else is on here? I mean, we have, like, for example, some other notables. Do you still have more?
Well, yeah, I also compiled a
ahead.
list of players to avoid. Those people included Kyle Klein, Adam Hammes. Kyle Klein and Adam Hammes actually have shot very poorly in Las Vegas, but I was going to fade the noise. However, Prize Picks also faded the noise, and they projected Kyle Klein and Adam Hammes to shoot very well. So I don't have the balls to pull the trigger on the over on them, even though their history in Las Vegas shows that they have typically not shot that well. They average literally like 10-10 golf, which is pretty
His
poor for
average
them.
is Adam is 1019 is his average over, but it's only over 2 rounds, or sorry,
2 years.
two events. Yeah.
Kyle Klein's is one event.
Kyle Klein is one event, and he averaged 110.
10, I believe.
So they did not use that data. That's for sure. They're looking at how they are as overall players, which I think this reflects that more. I mean, Kyle Klein at 49.5. Once again, if you think he's going to go out there and his putter is hot, he's got all the shots. Kyle Klein, we're going to avoid. But if you chose an under on Kyle Klein because you think he can go out there and do it, then I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely okay with you choosing an under on Kyle
These are
Klein.
sharp lines. I got to be honest. These are pretty sharp. So
yeah, even down to the fact of Brody Smith. Brody's somebody who we wrote him all last year. We plan on writing him again. We picked him in our season long, but I'm actually avoiding Brody Smith this week. They have projected Brody to shoot about a 1030. That's where I would project him. That's where I would project him to shoot for Las Vegas, even though his rating is well below that. Brody typically does well in Vegas. And
it's an easy course. I think he's going to be able to power up on a lot of fairways and mids to kind of eliminate some variance in his throws. He won't have to be throwing big, skippy, crazy shots. But Brody, I think this is the type of course that he can excel on. Not too many trees in the way. He can just go out there. He's been practicing. So that's someone we're going to avoid for now. Just, if he was at 51.5 or maybe a 52, then maybe I'm thinking a little bit different. But at 51, which, for example, is the same score that they have for Drew Gibson. And only a half stroke worse than Kevin Jones. So, or if you think about it in that sense, where he's so close to those two guys who we believe are a level or two above him, then maybe you choose the over on Brody. But I think we're going to try.
I mean, there's a ton of leverage to be gained there, right? If you're choosing Brody on the over and then Kevin Jones and Drew Gibson on the unders, ton of leverage to be gained there. So that's a great spot that you could take advantage of when you're just looking at the board and seeing why is Brody projected near these two studs. A lot of leverage to be gained there. So I also have Nico on the avoid list just because they have him projected right where I think that he should shoot, right around his rating. And they have a lot of the guys projected right around the rating, which is what you expect. But that's what we got.
That's what we see. And we've already placed our bets. I think we discussed earlier we're going to be doing a little bankroll challenge this year. We talked about it a little bit last year, but we already had money flying in and out before we even started. So it was kind of hard to do that. But I think we're ready to try that this year. We each have, are we saying $100 in here? Because that's what I deposited. I think
I'll give you my exact. Hold on. So you're going to play with $100. And the point of this bankroll challenge, guys, is to be transparent with our money, transparent with our bets. We want our entries. We want to show, if we have some good data presented to us and we can or can't win, we want people to know about it.
Yeah.
If we got all this data presented to us and we want to front like we're like we can beat the lines, well, let's go out there and try it. If we can't, then that's just transparency, and
that's okay because it's for fun.
Exactly. This is $100. We have $100 to lose. It's not a big deal. So you're gonna play with 100. Let me count mine. If you got anything else to say, why? Because I already placed some entries. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I already placed $35 worth of entries. I have 123. I'm playing with $158. So mine's the $158 bankroll challenge. Yours is the $100.
Mine's the hundo.
And so my strategy this week, because I'm going for bankroll management, I'm not going for broke. I'm not going to play a lot of power plays. I'm going to play a lot of flex plays. If you're new to prize picks, power plays means that you have to get all of your picks right to cash, whereas flex plays, you can still win some money back even if you don't get all the picks right, although flex plays don't pay out as much.
For example, a 2-pick power, if you get them both, will triple up your money, but if you miss one of them, you get nothing. And
if you miss one of them, you get half your money back.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Not on
a power, on a flex. But then on a flex, a 3-pick flex might only pay $12 or something. If you get, all three of them. So you might only double or two and a quarter times your money. But like you said, it's more about bankroll management. Do you want to talk about the picks that you already have locked in? I'm mad we missed out on the Calvin one when they moved that line, but that's okay.
So again, you're going to want to play multiple entries. If you're playing with $100, I don't think you should place a $100 entry. I think you should place as many $5 entries as you can. Mix it up, reduce your variance. So for example, on that same note, our locks of the week were Ezra and Kevin Jones under and James Conrad over. So I have a flex play with Ezra under, Conrad over, and then I have one Kevin Jones under, Conrad over. And I'm just mixing them up and vice versa. And, for every, let's say you have 10 entries and you have a bunch of James Conrad over, maybe out of those 10 entries, 2 of them should be unders to hedge yourself a little bit in case Conrad, you don't want Conrad to ruin your whole weekend on one round, So do some hedging and place a lot of entries. I'm always a fan of that.
Agreed. And kind of going with what our locks were, excuse me. I've got a 2-pick power play, so I'm expecting these both to hit. So I like to do the power plays with my 2 main locks, the things I feel the strongest about. And for me, that's going to be, I've got a Chris Dickerson over. So Chris Dickerson could still shoot a 7 down because his line is at 49.5. Chris Dickerson on an over, and then Drew Gibson on an under because they have him at 51. And I think Drew's going to do well. Specifically on the first day on this easier course. So I'm expecting Drew Gibson under, Chris Dickerson over with a $5 power play. And my second pick is a flex play. As you mentioned, it is a $5 flex play with some of those names we talked about before. Kevin Jones under, Ezra under, James Conrad over. So those are my 2 picks.
This just in, breaking news. Ezra's line has moved to 50. It was 50.5.
Well, there you go. We got in at 50. Yep. We got in at 50.5. So as you're listening, folks, the lines are changing. Things are moving around based on what players are playing. So interesting stuff that Calvin and Ezra, both lines have moved down. And at least we got in on Ezra early. That's why sometimes sitting around and waiting for those lines to drop can be helpful if you've got a strong inkling. So sorry if you missed out on that half a stroke, but I had Ezra under 50.5. And so now
Ezra shot a 1090 last year at this course. He could still go out there and shoot it. But again, every half stroke makes a difference. And we encourage you to get into the lines as soon as possible.
Agreed. Oh, so, all right, Jay. What is next?
Other related news. Yeah.
Other related news. Well, let me think here. You're going to be coming to town with me in a couple weeks, right? We both got signed up for a Lake Selmac Southern Oregon Winter Series tournament.
Yes. I'm like that Bernie Sanders meme. I am once again predicting that I am going to win the advanced division. I have yet to win one, but I have always consistently posted on the Facebook page and talked trash to everybody that I am going to take first. I am predicting I am going to win at Selmac. My last tournament I played was a handful of months ago, but I shot my first 970 rated round. It was long overdue, and it was the hot round of the whole tournament, and I am ready to continue that. I'm excited for Selmac. I
have a mixed history with Selmac because last year when we played, that first round, I shot the hot round. I shot like a 970, I think, ish the first round.
Oh, then you puked, didn't you?
And then I puked the bed. Yeah, I shot like something like 10 over the second round and shot like an 840. I went from like a 2 or a 3 down to a 10.
Oh my God.
I mean, they call this course Lake Tree Smack as well as Lake Selmac because of all the trees in the second round. I don't know. I guess I just went in there with too big of a head thinking I was just going to bring this thing home. And I hit about every single tree on the course and shot a 10 over. So I shot, I think, my highest and lowest rated round of the year in the same day, which is, that's amateur disc golf in a nutshell. So
I'm excited. Jamie, aka my girlfriend, is also going to be playing. So hopefully she can average 700 rated golf. That's what I'm hoping for.
I tried to convince the wife.
I just got delivery. Did you hear that?
No, I did actually. I heard delivery. Is it
Yeah.
discs? Is that Proto Destroyer that you won?
Hold on, give me 1 second. You need a signature?
Oh, we gotta get a signature. They want a signature, folks.
Gotcha. All right, appreciate you.
Jad won a Proto Destroyer in a little challenge. So
Anyways,
is this the Proto
no,
Destroyer? Let's see
it is not. So I did just recently win a Proto Destroyer on a disc golf waffle. I am 2 for 3 in waffles all time. I paid 38
Why is
bucks
it called a waffle?
because they don't want to use the R word. They don't want to use raffle
Oh, okay.
and there's like certain rules to it. Like you can't say what you're paying for when you send the guy the Venmo or PayPal and et cetera, et cetera.
Gotcha. Okay.
I paid 38 bucks and won a Proto Destroyer. So that's like a plus $100+ on value there. So that was dope. Been waiting
Plus
to add one
EV
of those
move.
in my collection. It's probably it's a minus EV move, but it paid off. That was like I paid for my flush draw and I got there.
You got there, yeah. You had the 2-outer. Yeah, I think for me the next thing. Oh, I also signed up for a NADGT, like the National Amateur Disc Golf thing.
And that's at Selmac as well.
There's one at Selmac and there's one at TP. I decided to skip the one at Selmac and do the one at TP. Hopefully go out there and shoot better than I did
You need to quit
2 weeks ago.
930s and 910s.
I know, man. It's just freaking 5 here and a few 4s there. I regularly miss all the easiest holes and then somehow birdie other ones to get myself just back to 930 golf. So yeah, last time was not a great round by me, but I averaged about my rating. So what do you expect? Next, prize picks. They're gonna have lines for me. Will I shoot over or above my
speaking
terrible
of
rating?
lines and prize picks, they are expecting to release FPO lines tomorrow, and they're also doing a new parked stat that you can bet on, and I imagine that's how many times somebody parks a hole.
Oh, that's interesting.
So so I got that email yesterday. So if you are still listening to this, there will be FPO lines going up. Remember, get to them as soon as possible. I believe maybe a couple more MPO lines as well, but they are also releasing that parked stat. So that'll be cool to mess around with. We'll see how we feel about that.
And we know last year they also had birdies per round stat.
They had birdies, and then they also had where they finished.
Total finish, yeah.
Yep. So Calvin Heimberg over under top 4,
Right, yeah. That'd be really cool to see on like which tournaments and which courses they decide to do those type of bets, because I think those are pretty fun, especially at tournaments where players historically do well. I think that type of data will be really valuable to us. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does this bring us to the end? Is that already the end of episode 1?
I think that could be the end.
We do like to keep them short.
30 minutes in.
Yeah. We do like to keep them
I'm
short
happy we are doing this live streaming now because we are showing how crucial it can be to get to the lines as soon as possible. So the faster we can get that data to you, the better. However, this might be like a one-time only thing. You happen to have the day off. Work and I go into work in about an hour and a half from now, so typically we might not be able to do it until the PMs, but also typically the lines don't come out until the PMs. So
yeah,
we'll keep it fluid. We'll try our best to give you guys the fastest and best data as soon as possible, and it's a work in progress.
Yeah. One last shout out to our sponsors, Prize Picks. Make sure you use the promo code HTL when you make your first deposit to get a match. Shout out Till Death Disc Club with this sweet hat. You can go on their website and use promo code HTL Pod to get a 15% discount. And shout out Dark Ace Apparel. You can head on their website and use the promo code HTL for a hefty little discount there too.
I think I seen Paul McBeth's brother rocking Dark Ace Apparel on Instagram.
I think he's in the metal. Yeah. So if you're someone like me who loves heavy metal,
the contrast between him and Paul, I love it.
Yeah, they're like one's the evil twin and the other one's like the good teachers.
Really, dude,
one is funny. Like I can imagine Paul's like brother maybe used to have some like more serious issues growing up, and Paul was like, "That's not going to be me. I'm never drinking beer."
Literally, that's
probably what happened. But yeah, shout out to our sponsors. No hate, no judgment on either of them. But go out and check out our sponsors, guys. It would mean a lot to us to so get yourself a sweet hat, a sweet tank. I've got 2 hoodies right now in the washer from Dark Ace, another shirt in the closet here. And we're going to be riding with these guys this whole season. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week or for the next tournament.
Peace.
Peace.